Hey, what's good? This your man Wood. Thanks for pressing play on another Pay Me No Mind video. This is a little bit of TV talk. Obviously, with a major show like Billions returning for season 4, the premiere available this weekend is the first episode of season 4, and good to have a great show on the docket, on a weekly basis to kind of review. It is one of my favorite shows. It's one of the stronger uh, shows on TV right now, in my opinion. Might be the best one out there. But last night was the return of season, the start of season 4, and it was called Chucky Rhodes' Greatest Game. The synopsis on it, coming straight off of IMDb.com. Season 4 begins with Axe closing ranks, determined to destroy Taylor. No longer U.S. attorney, Chuck struggles to regain power. Taylor does what it takes to keep their new company afloat. I was very interested, in seeing where two things going into this season, two obvious things. What was that? The showdown between Bobby Axelrod and Taylor Mason, who came in and left. She came in, learned the game, and then took her talents to her own shop, Taylor Mason Capital. And that's what happened at the end of last season. She poached a couple of traders from AxeCap, and she's just outsmarted and outwitted Bobby Axelrod, and she does it in a she does it more from tech. She's assisted by tech, and she thinks she has a higher set of morals, or they. I'm sorry. Taylor refers to themselves as they, them. Check the show for all of that. But Taylor seems to think that they have a better, more moral compass than Bobby Axelrod, who comes into a lot of his money and grows his book and his the assets that he has under his management. He grows it by influence, by information gathering, and a number of different activities besides just reading charts and what do you call it? Sound reasoning or something. So, but that was one of the main arcs, was the beef between Bobby Axelrod / AxeCap versus Taylor Mason / Taylor Mason Capital, I believe is what it's called. So, and then the second one, where does the show go now that Chuck Rhodes and his sights are no longer trained on Bobby Axelrod, who, if you've been keeping up, his wife works at AxeCap and is one of Bobby's or Axe's key assets, key players. So that's kind of what we're getting into this season. And Chucky Rhodes' Greatest Game, overall a solid episode. Like I said, I was elated that the show came back and that it's starting up, but I am a little bit concerned very early on are we just going to see more of the same? What's up, Miss Boxing? I'm on here just talking entertainment. I don't always do boxing, but thanks for checking in with me. I don't know if you're a fan of Billions or not, but it's one of my favorite shows. So, like I said, the thing that I was concerned with is where is the show going to go this year, and will it kind of become a caricature of itself? And I think if you look at some of what we saw last night, it seems like Wags is overacting a little bit, but it is kind of consistent with the irreverent or goofy stuff that he kind of does. But I don't know. It's a chance that it could start showing some weakness this year. Obviously, Axe doesn't have his family anymore, so I'm concerned with what's going on with him. And I think if you looked at the trailer for next week's episode, you kind of get the sense that he's getting ready to go off and do something a little uncharacteristic with this new female that he seemed that I think could be a partner. since he got the warning from. I was trying to check out his name. Malkovich. What's his name? Grigor John Malkovich. His Russian character, which is almost a little too close to Teddy KGB from Rounders. But what the hell is his name? Yeah, Grigor Andalov. So Bobby gets a stern warning from him that don't mess around with Taylor Mason because my money is tied up in her money, and he probably represents most of her cash or most of the assets that she has under her management right now. So he says, and then Bobby is already aware that Grigor is about that making people disappear stuff. He's really about that street action. He just does this stuff through the regular avenues with this trust fund, not trust fund, but with this hedge fund, and through the here through the banking system and whatnot. He just does that because he can. But the expectations is that he always receives a certain a certain return on his investments, and he never loses. He never intends to lose. So I guess, like I said, trying to wrap this up in another couple minutes. One person did. I looked at one viewer's critique of the first show, and I kind of get where they were coming from. They only gave it 3 out of 10 stars. They said it's this for them the premiere. This is Rat's Breath on IMDb, and their comment was disappointing on every level. Blatant money grab, storyline is played out, characters are becoming a parody, and I think that's somewhat accurate. And obviously the season is already written, shot, and it's all in the queue for us to watch the next 9 weeks. I think it's a 10-episode season, so it'll kind of see, does this thing fully go off the scale and it loses some fans, or is it as brilliant as it's been the past 2 or 3 seasons? So that's kind of what to tune in for. Obviously, it's a lot of extreme stuff in here. I'll get to these real quick. It opens up this episode with Bobby. He's got a full security detail with him now, 24/7, partially out or mainly out of fear because of John Malkovich's character, Grigor. And then he's just dead set on doing anything in the world to outmaneuver Taylor. So you saw that Wendy had paid off the headhunter to not bring any new talent to Taylor Mason Capital, and then that's going on. And then also Chuck's dad, Chuck Sr., his character is kind of like more intense than what he's been, in previous seasons. So like I said, that Rat's Breath comment is something to keep an eye on. The office scenes on the floor of Axe Capital, some of the different dialogue between the team and the different brokers or whatever his team is called, traders. Some of their interaction between one another is a little over the top. So like I said, it is seeming like from this first episode, things could get off the rails a little bit, and hopefully they don't go too much into that territory and we grow tired of the shtick. It becomes shtick. Other than that, it was interesting to see Chuck, now that he is powerless, how does he get back on his feet? And the things that he went through this week in this episode just to get back in the game and get this gun permit for a client, as one of his signs of showing his influence and his network and how connected he is or isn't. It was a little beneath him, but again, he's been totally knocked down the totem pole and has to completely pull himself up by his bootstraps and get back in the game. So I'm not gonna go too hard on this episode. I thought it was pretty good for the most part, but I am seeing some some early signs of could this show take a turn for the worse? The attorney, the U.S. Attorney Office, Connerty is now back, is in charge of that. The Jeffco cat is now going back and digging up Chuck's old cases to look for misconduct and different things like that to completely tear down his legacy based on him trying to play him last season. So that's kind of where that is. So I'm at my 10-minute mark. I'm going to jump on off of here. Thanks for anybody that pressed play. Like I said, I'm going to be talking about billions all year. If my back wasn't killing me at the moment, I probably could have done this a little better. But, hit me up in the comment section if you're a fan of the show. If there's any particular storylines or characters that you're checking for this year or this season. And, let me know if you agree that this thing could lose some of its brilliance that it's had the past 3 seasons. Or, are you optimistic that it'll be another strong season? So I'm out of here. Peace.